Hey guys, I'm Felicia Davidson and I am a real estate agent in the greater Hartford area of Connecticut. I started pursuing my real estate license towards the end of 2020 into the start of 2021 and have been actively selling real estate for over a year now. So I really wanted to take the time to sort of reflect on everything that I've learned and share with you guys some of those things and what I plan on doing in my business going forward. And hopefully, if you're in the same boat, you're just kind of starting out and you're not exactly sure what to expect, this will be helpful to you. I'll just start by saying that prior to becoming a real estate agent, I always sort of knew that it was an industry I was interested in, but it really intimidated me. I really thought about it for a long time and never really made the leap because I was really fearful about sort of what would happen if I pursued a career in this. Now, I want you guys to understand this because I feel like there are so many coaches and mentors and programs out there that talk a lot about what they did to become successful, that doesn't really talk about maybe what the initial feelings were like when they got into real estate. If you've started, you've probably learned pretty quickly how challenging it can be to start your own business if you've never done so before. So that's why I want to share with you some of the fears I had going into it, because I have a feeling that you might have some similar ones. Prior to getting into real estate, I really had two big fears. One was, how do I run a business? What does that look like? What are the laws involved with that, the financial implications of that, and just the all-around sort of overwhelm about the responsibility of starting a business. The other big fear that I had was, how would I generate leads? Would I be able to generate leads? And if I did, would I even do a good enough job that they were happy with the service that I gave? Prior to ever even taking the class, these things were already on my radar and things that I was worried about. And I'll admit that fear kind of grew as the class went on and I was learning, all these terms and concepts. It did get overwhelming and I started to build a little bit of that imposter syndrome and I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to be able to pull it off. Now for a little bit of a truth bomb. After taking the plunge into real estate, I can honestly say that those fears have not gone away. Those are the things that I still worry about and that I spend a lot of time, trying to resolve and overcome. So don't think that you're expected to have all the answers even a year in. You might still have a lot of the same insecurities and fears, and it's a process. You have to work on those every day, and that's something I have definitely learned in this time frame. The thing about real estate is there is no one perfect way of doing anything. Whether it's day one on the job or you've been doing it for 20 years, any agent will tell you that there are things that will surprise you still. And obviously I'm still new, so a lot of things surprise me and I'm still learning a lot. But it's a kind of job where you don't know every possible scenario that could happen. Every transaction is unique. And every day on your job is unique. The things that you have to prioritize and what the conversations you're having and just everything that you're dealing with is not a perfect formula. So if you're expecting it to be that, I would say throw that out the window and just be ready to adapt and to grow and to learn as you go. Because like I said, the answers are not gonna be clearly laid out from you from the get-go. Now, although my fears were valid and they are definitely still there, I have learned how much more I'm capable of than I realized. And it's really those moments that test you that will impact your overall success. I am still in the early stages. I have not gotten to a point where I'm generating business with my eyes closed and it's a well-oiled machine. I am working towards that every day. But I do believe that I've accomplished more than I expected to in over a year's time. I look back on when I was taking the class versus now having several transactions under my belt and, just countless strategies implemented and things that I've done. And it really just taught me to take small steps and to look at what you have to do today. If you start thinking about, what if I don't sell XYZ this year, what's gonna happen? And 6 months from now, what's that gonna look like? Try not to think about that. It's easier said than done. Try to focus on what you can do today. If you're brand new, is it, training? Is it looking at a video, watching a video online, listening to a podcast so that you become more knowledgeable? Is it talking to your neighbor casually and see if maybe they're interested in buying and selling, and that's your first little step to start having conversations about real estate? Whatever it is, start small and it'll be a lot less overwhelming for you if you do so. If you can take away one lesson from this video, I would say it will be this one that I'm about to share, which is the importance of no longer comparing yourself to others, particularly other agents. If you've started the process at all, even if it's just looking up real estate classes online, you probably already have gotten bombarded with ads from coaches, mentors, programs, products, all related to what they can do to help you sell $100,000, worth of an income in 6 months. And if you stick with it, you'll be a millionaire by the end of the year. Yeah, I get so many of those and it's kind of infuriating. But, the truth of it is that there is no quick fix. And there are some one-offs. Of course, there are people who were overnight successes. I don't want to say that that's impossible, but realistically, most people are going to have a slow build when it comes to developing your business. Comparing yourself to those multimillionaire agents that you see on TV or social media is like trying to compare your diet to a celebrity who has a nutritionist and a fitness coach at their beck and call. Right? We all can see that that's unrealistic. But for some reason, when it comes to our business, we think that we have to hold ourselves to the standards of those people who are, the gurus or the people who have really made it. I am guilty of falling for some of those programs or advertisements that have come my way. And again, I am not knocking those programs, and I actually think that having a coach can be really helpful. There's programs that are fantastic, and I'm not trying to say that they are all bad. But the problem I have is ones that use phrases that indicate that if you work hard, you'll be successful, and those who aren't successful today or in the next 6 months, if you want to say that, it's because they didn't work hard enough. There are so many factors that come into your business, and you know what will motivate you and how to be successful for your own business. So don't let anyone tell you that you need to hit a certain milestone by a certain date in order to indicate that you are going to be successful. Everyone's business can look different. Your strategies can be different than somebody else's. And I believe in the long game, which is the next point that I am going to make. The final point that I want to make about what I've learned, some of these harder lessons in my first year, is that it is a long game. I watched a video at some point where somebody really spoke about that and the problems that can arise from treating your business like as if that next transaction you have is everything, right? Like you're just chasing, it's like going paycheck to paycheck, right? Like chasing that commission. And it's a natural thing to do when the only way that you're getting paid is from closing deals. So it's completely understandable that this happens in our brain, but it can be so damaging because you're no longer putting the needs of your clients first. You're no longer putting the needs of yourself first. So, maybe your sleep or your just mental health, you're kind of put them by the wayside. You have to think of it as that slow and steady wins the race. So consistent action that you take. What the coaches and everybody do all get right is that it does take consistency. It does take a lot of work, but you need to be patient with the results. and not get so attached to the outcome. So whatever your strategy may be, which I'm not going to go into that can be a different video, but the decisions that you make every day do impact your success, but it's not this magic switch that, a lot of people say, oh, things pay off in 90 days. That's true on average, but you could go a little longer without a paycheck. These things happen, and it's not a perfect science. And that's why it's all about, being consistent about your work and following whatever strategies you believe in wholeheartedly and taking all those steps to get there, but doing so knowing that it's about where you are 5 years from now. It's not about where you are next week or next month or even maybe not even next year. Depending on what you're doing, there are some things that can take 18 months or more before you really start to see growth in your business. So think about that long-term game, and that way you won't make decisions that maybe aren't in the best interest of you and your clients. Before I go, I do just want to say that I am still very new and am in no way implying that I am an expert. I just wanted to share with you a reflection, my honest sort of raw reaction to the year that I had. It has been very hard, probably the hardest thing professionally that I have had to do so far in my life. And there are some days that are rough, but then there's other days where I'm like, this is the best decision I ever made. So I just wanted to share with you those kind of bigger lessons that I have learned, and I do plan on doing more videos where I share maybe some specifics, obviously not things that are confidential, but just more specifics about maybe something that went wrong on a strategy I tried or a transaction or whatever that I was able to learn from. So I do plan on doing videos like that going forward. And if you have an area maybe that you're interested in or you're curious about, feel free to comment in the video below and I will be happy to address it. Thanks for watching. If you are a new real estate agent and you're having trouble staying organized, don't forget to check out my video that I have where I share some tips about staying organized as an agent. And otherwise, don't forget to subscribe and comment below any ideas or topics that you guys want to talk about. I would love to connect with fellow new real estate agents. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.